you know, we can talk about the challenge mode, we can talk about Mr. Freeze, New Game Plus, 3D announced on all platforms as well.
Right.
So that's what's sort of come out since E3. But Mr. Penguin, Solomon Grundy were announced at Comic-Con. Shit, what else?
You have more announcements coming up, right? In the New York Comic-Con? Or no?
New York Comic-Con is the week of launch, so if we're still announcing things like a day before we launch.
Done by then. There's something else coming up there, isn't there? That you're doing another announcement?
What else is coming up? What's around the corner?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Last I saw was Mr. Freeze.
I mean, the way that we roll at Rocksteady is definitely not to give away everything before launch.
Yeah,
so, gamers, much like Scarecrow in the first game, gamers can expect when they play Arkham City for the first time, there's going to be stuff in there that will blow their minds, having never seen it or even heard about it before.
Well, let's see. We've got playable Robin in the challenge rooms.
Yeah.
3 different skins for him.
Yeah.
Catwoman, I guess, she has her own challenge rooms, maybe, or?
Well, all of those characters were all designed to be played in all challenges. So the whole idea behind multiple playable characters in challenge maps was that you could play all characters in all maps. So the real meat behind that is having a combat system and a navigational system that's different for each of those 3 characters, so those maps feel different. So when you're playing as Catwoman in combat, you know, she's much faster than Batman, but when Batman hits, he really means it. So she's more about working the room, chipping away at guys, whereas Batman is just about taking that straight line. Robin is the only of the, one of those 3 characters who's got a weapon. So he's got the bow staff that deploys a shield as well, so he's got defensive capability. He's also got the ability in augmented vision to identify explosives in the environment and to plan explosives himself, so they really do feel very different because they've been deliberately designed to be very different characters.
How many, are there any more? You won't be able to tell me. Damn it.
You can ask it anyway.
I'll ask it anyway. Any more reveals as far as playable characters that we're going to see before launch?
I remember when people were saying, is Mr. Freeze in the game before we announced Freeze? And I was like, you know, there's things we're not talking about, and things we're not talking about yet. And then we announced Freeze, and everyone was like, cool, like literally cool. So what's next? So every time we announce a character, it doesn't ever satisfy anyone.
Well, because
it's this insatiable desire, this well
out
that I cannot fill. I'm killing myself and the studio to try and satisfy you people, and it never, ever gets me anywhere. We've made a lot of announcements, and if you know anything about Rocksteady, we're going to be not announcing things even on the day of launch. Between now and launch, we're very, very excited to come to events like PAX and Games from last week and show the game and show it to gamers and Batman fans and consumers. So that's what we're going to be rolling with and focusing on. But there's surprises that are going to come all the way around the corner from places you're not even going to expect.
Will you be releasing a demo?
That is something that we have not yet made a decision on.
Okay. I'm trying to see what else I can ask, because it's almost everything else I'm pretty much aware of.
Let me tell you about New Game Plus then.
Yes. Go into that.
New Game Plus is hot dog because we've got this situation where, having finished the main game, you then unlock the ability to create a new save profile, which is New Game Plus. All of the gadgets and upgrades that you had earned within that first playthrough of the story mode get carried over into a new beginning of the story again under the guise of New Game Plus. So you start the story supercharged. You've got everything that you've already earned. All the gadgets, all the upgrades, all the abilities. Now that means right from the beginning, you're just steaming in there with these crazy abilities and crazy strength. So what we've done in order to maintain the thread and establish this feeling like I'm going to need all of this stuff is totally reconfigured all of the enemies that you come up against. So guys in the first playthrough who didn't have weapons, they've now got assault rifles. Guys who were in gangs of 2 or 3, they're now in gangs of 5 or 7. They've got body armor, they've got jamming capabilities, every aspect of the game that is ramping up throughout that first playthrough, those guys are there day one. So that's why bringing across your gadgets and your upgrades is so critical, kicking off again in New Game Plus. But all of the trophies that you haven't yet found in that first playthrough, if you find them in the second playthrough, they get shared across both. So this new game, this new version, this new save profile, it doesn't affect your original game. You can jump between them, but if you want to take this New Game Plus profile on, you're then also aggregating new progress that is reflected in your original game as well. So you're not losing anything, we're just giving you a whole new way of playing the game and a whole different balance to your abilities versus the enemies within Arkham City. Now that is cool, or what?
That's a lot of stuff, because it's already, how long of a playthrough are we looking at?
To 100% the game, it's about a 40-hour game. So to take down all the villains, about 25 hours. To 100% of the game is 40 hours plus. And then
now, when you say 100%, are you including like top, well, I don't know. The challenge rooms don't really have an ending to them.
Well, no. Then on top of that, you've got the challenge.
Got that, yeah.
So the challenge mode is on top of that 40 hours. So Arkham City is a big game, a genuinely big game.
So that means we should expect everything that there is to throw in the Batman realm
and so far
into the game.
So far
to be that big.
Villain after villain after villain after villain.
Right.
Well, that's the thing about making an open game world. All of a sudden, you've got this feeling that we never had in Arkham Asylum. That feeling is freedom, you know, pure navigational freedom. To smell the air, to go wherever you want. Right from the beginning of the game, you can do, you know, or traverse to any aspect or any area of the game you want. So in order to maintain that same sense of threat, that atmosphere of threat that we had in the first game, we just loaded in just a poop ton of villains, so that as you turn a corner,
you can say shit.
You know, Penguin's coming at you, then Riddler's over here, you know that Joker's up to something, Two-Face is getting busy with Catwoman, you know that there's a new ability that you just got that allows you to get in this whole area here, you know that Zaz is up to his old tricks again and the phones are ringing, so that sense of loads of villains all wanting a piece of you all at the same time, that's the feeling that I think Batman would have every day of the week, like just constant aggro from all these different big personalities, and you've got to somehow prioritize them all because they're all demanding their pound of flesh all at the same time.
Is the world unlocked completely from the get-go?
The open world, absolutely. The interiors are what drive the narrative. So,
It's alright.
I'll tell you. So right from the very beginning, all of the open world is totally accessible to the player. So anything that you can see the sky, any area of the game world that that you can see the bat signal on the moon, that's totally open. It's the interiors that really drive the narrative kind of flow. So you would have seen the demo
I've noticed
here.
pretty much all the villains that you meet happen inside buildings.
And then they've got presence outside on the streets where their gangs are kind of engaged in this turf war as
players
well.
of those things unless you're inside one of their buildings, I suppose.
In what we have shown so far, absolutely right. But this is a big game with a lot that we haven't shown yet.
Oh, you gotta go? Okay. Well, thanks for your time.
Hey, man.
Really appreciate it.
All
very much. Thank you so much. I'll see you throughout the process.
It's good to meet you, man.
Thanks.